Hello everyone. On today's episode of Meaningful Mondays with Neha, I finally have somebody who is amongst the top 51 yoga instructors in India. Well, Aruna is my guest and I'm so happy that she could make it, and we are going to be talking about this holistic importance of this particular practice and how it's going to make a difference to your and my life if it is done regularly. Well, she is a internationally certified trainer and is been doing some tremendous work with some 10,000 plus clients, and it's fun talking to her. Apart from that, she's a vivacious character and I'm sure you will get that vibe when you see the podcast. So without further ado, let's just jump into the conversation. Hi Aruna, so happy to have you on the show, and I'm sure I was actually for a very long time wanting to have somebody from the yoga industry to come and talk, because I'm myself a great follower of yoga and I really want people out there to know the benefits of it. So thank you so much for being here, and now the entire thing, I'm sure a lot of us are going to be enlightened with the importance of yoga. Okay. So let's just quickly barge into the conversation. Tell me, Aruna, the very first question is, I'm sure all of them would want to know the very first thing. What do you think are the, visibly physical benefits that we have by practicing yoga every day?
Sure. So first off, thank you for having me. I'm also equally excited to have this conversation with you. And even before I go into the question, I want to mention here that yoga, that we use the word very commonly to talk about the asana practice.
Right.
While that is a significant part of the entire yoga knowledge system, we have to remember that yoga is so much more beyond asanas too.
Right.
All right. And when we talk about the physical benefits, the beauty of yoga itself is that or at least the Hatha Yoga itself is that we start at a physical level and then slowly we go into a energy level.
Right.
And ultimately it is a Atma Vidya. It's a means for enlightenment, right? So we have to give it that due respect and that due importance when we are talking about yoga, and not just think of it as yet another physical practice like going to the gym or strength training or HIIT or running or anything. So I just wanted to set that context over here to begin with.
No, that's really nice, because otherwise, it's like these days people think it's more like a trend.
Yeah.
Okay, it's trending. Everybody wants to do yoga. Okay, so even I want to do.
Yoga is trending for 5,000 years, so it's never going to go.
Or probably I think I should put it as it has been very nicely marketed now.
Yeah.
It was always there, but just that we know it way more than we knew it earlier.
See, the thing is, we all think that yoga means you have to roll out a mat and you have to do something with your body. You have to close your nose, close your eyes, and but yoga is actually how you live.
Right.
Everything that we do is yoga only. See, especially in the Indian way of living. Right from the morning when you get up, there is so much mindfulness that is already inculcated in our day-to-day life.
Right.
Like, just rubbing the hands and looking at our palms. Many of us do this, right? And then going to the prayer room and praying, starting our day with a prayer. And simple things like putting a kolam in front of the house, or before cooking, you pray and you cook, you pray and you eat. All of this, it's not like there is some God sitting out there watching us like, why are you not praying? True. Nothing like that.
Very
it is just our way of tuning our mind to a higher altar.
And having that peace.
Yes. Right. And it is already there. We are already doing yoga. So that's what it is. But to answer your question, I will reframe it as, how does the asana practice help us? What are the physical benefits of the asana practice? See, one thing people think is yoga means it's for flexibility.
Right.
That's a very, very small part of it.
Okay.
Actually, yoga is for regulating your nervous system.
Okay.
So it is for making you shift into a parasympathetic state. We have two major states, sympathetic and parasympathetic.
Okay.
Yoga practices are designed to put us into a parasympathetic state of being.
Got it.
What it means is the body is automatically in a rest and digest mode. The body functions optimally. Hormone secretions are regulated. Digestion happens in a better way. Assimilation of food happens in a better way. Repair and healing of the body happens faster when we are in this parasympathetic nervous system.
All right.
So that's why yoga practices are not stimulating.
Okay.
They are subtle. They are trying to calming you down.
Right.
Unlike gym or or a cardio where you are actually stimulating your system.
Right.
Here you are calming down your system.
So can we say safely that it's more of starting it from your mind, from your brain to the entire body?
No, it starts with the body and goes to the mind.
Oh,
because working
okay.
directly with the mind is very difficult.
Acha, okay.
See, if I ask you to stand, you
Right.
can stand.
Right.
I ask you to sit with a cross-legged position, you can. If you want to walk, you can. Whatever you say, your body will obey. But will your mind obey anything that you say?
True.
Is it easy to work with your mind?
Very
It's
true.
very difficult. That's why in the asana practice, we start with the body. And then we go to the mind. And
All right.
actually, we start with the body, then we go to the breath, then we go to the mind, then the energies. There is
Flow
a
then.
gradual progression. We all are not just this body, right? We
Right.
all have other aspects to our being
us.
too.
Very
Mind
true.
is also a part of our being. It is an aspect
Correct.
of us.
Right.
Energy is an aspect of us. We all have that dimensions of existence too.
True.
And yoga is for all of it.
That was some piece of information, Aruna. Now, let me move on to my next question. Now, tell me how this yoga practicing, every day helps in actually dealing with these common lifestyle issues, which are like, diabetes and hypertension, back pain, very common problems.
Yeah.
How do we deal? I mean, how does it work with them?
This is a very good question. And the thing is, you mentioned a very beautiful word, practicing every day.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
so everything comes from regular practice. People can't expect like 20 days your diabetes will be reversed, or
Very
you
true.
become you free of back pain overnight. Nothing happens overnight.
Correct,
This
correct.
everyday practice is important. There are multiple ways in which yoga addresses these issues. First is yoga is a very spine focused practice. Like how in gyms and in strength training we target different muscle groups and your entire workout is designed based on those. In yoga, we design the practice based on spinal movement.
Okay.
So we believe that the spine is where our center of energy is. Spine
okay.
includes not just the spine but also the brain, obviously,
Okay.
right? So the practice itself is centered around that. So, and as I told you before, it is about regulating our nervous system to a large extent.
Correct.
So when we do yoga practice properly under correct guidance, consistent practice will automatically reduce all this stress related changes in the body. So what happens when the body is under a lot of stress for prolonged period of time is a lot of inflammation happens within the body at a cellular level.
Okay.
So, and it's not like we suddenly say, okay, I don't want to be stressed, and then you let go of stress, right?
Correct.
It's like as good as saying like, hey, don't worry. Like
Correct.
as if that has helped anybody.
Exactly.
Right?
Very true.
So, so when you are doing the asana practice, you are sending signals to your nervous system, to your endocrinal system, saying
Right.
that, hey, everything is okay.
Right. Yeah.
So that whatever time you take, maybe it is 10 minutes, maybe it is 15 minutes, maybe it is 1 hour if you have that time. That time you are resetting your body.
Right.
Signaling it that, hey, no matter what's happening in your mind, everything is okay at a physical level, you are safe. Things are okay. So do your work as you're supposed to do. Don't go into the stress.
So does it like happen that regular practicing of yoga can actually help reduce these issues like the
Absolutely.
diabetes and hypertension and all of that?
Yes, definitely it will. And we've also seen cases where there has been a reversal of these issues.
Oh,
also.
fantastic. Okay.
I myself have had thyroid
Okay.
in 2012, 2013, those
Yeah.
times. And after I started practicing yoga, I've come out of thyroid medication and it has been on normal
Oh, so you're
levels.
not on tablets
No,
anymore?
I'm not on tablets anymore.
Oh, wow. That's
and
amazing.
I've seen it happen for many of my students.
Right.
Thyroid, hypertension, and also this diabetic. When they come at that pre-diabetic stage and they are consistent with the practice,
Right.
they don't need medication also. But having said that,
Okay.
we cannot say
It
a
cannot
blanket
be the same
statement.
for everybody, obviously. Yeah,
but
right.
it definitely helps in a tremendous manner.
Right.
Yeah.
In fact, I would like to, highlight one thing here. Why as I told you at the beginning of the show that, I was like really wanting somebody to come and talk about the importance of it, because I myself have felt it. Post-pregnancy, I had this severe back pain problem,
Yeah.
and I was totally, how many times will you keep taking painkillers?
Yeah,
Like my doctor
yeah.
very happily said that, take painkillers until when it's paining. And that was a common thing, because until you're feeding and all that, that will be there in your
Yeah,
body.
yeah.
And I started with yoga. My dear friends, is out of personal experience. And within 3 months and till date, I have absolutely no back pain issues.
That's
and
amazing.
even if I have some point of day, what I do is I know the asanas, I start doing that, and I'm practicing that for a month or so, and I'm sorted.
Very good. Very
and that
good.
really helps.
Yeah.
And I'm not into any kind of medicines or
Yeah,
painkillers.
yeah.
And I feel it's always good, na? See, if you're naturally able to do it, why
Absolutely.
get into the medicine?
Absolutely.
So that's one thing that, you know, yes, I'm really happy, and I'm sure viewers will be happy that if they have these issues, they can actually deal with it.
Yes, they can, and also have the confidence that your body can heal yourself. It's not that just because you got something, it's
Right.
It's like that's it.
Correct.
Right?
Ho
Your
gaya.
body is
Right.
a self-healing mechanism. It will heal itself provided you get good sleep, good nutrition. And
Plus, of course, you need to have patience, I feel.
Yeah,
You need
and
to
do
be-
what needs to be done to take care of it. It will repair itself. So yeah.
Aruna, now I have a very interesting question for you, okay? Because I just had this thought and I wanted to ask you. Please tell me how practicing yoga every day can actually end up increasing your lifespan. Does that really work? Is it possible? Say, I know, of course, it has a lot of health benefits, and I see so many people, celebrities and all, 50, they are like super fit, and I look at them and I'm like, oh shit, will I be able to even walk at their age? So does it, like, you know, really help in, like, you know, having that lifespan which is extended kind of a thing if you maintain it that way?
A very interesting question. See, in yoga, what we believe is our lifespan is measured by the number of breaths we take. Okay, so
Oh, that's interesting
So
fact.
we all
Okay.
come to the earth with a predetermined, pre-allocated number of breaths that we can take.
Okay.
What actually yoga does is it really slows down the rate at which you breathe. You
Okay.
are not breathing faster.
Acha.
If you notice, even all the animals that have a longer lifespan, like the giant tortoises,
Right.
things like that,
Yes.
they all breathe very slow.
Slow, right.
So as you start breathing slower and slower, obviously you're going to extend.
Wow. Guys, now you know, if you want to like live for 100 years, what you have to do, just breathe slow.
And but having said that, it is very difficult to suddenly like start breathing
Change,
slow
make that
because-
change, correct.
Because the faster your thoughts are, the faster your breath is.
No, but I have a doubt here, Aruna. So breathe slow, meaning you're saying normally, like say right now how I'm breathing, is that also fast?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can keep slowing
slower
down
than this.
your breath.
So then you really need to practice to, like, you know, slow
What
your breath.
happens is with regular practice, you build that awareness.
Okay.
And then it becomes automatic.
Oh,
That's
okay,
all.
okay.
So it's not like you have to. But that awareness building will take some time. But once you
Right.
get that, then
I think then, you know, what you're saying is like more like meditation. See, because when we start meditating, you are not able to focus and concentrate at all because 100 things are running in your head. But slowly, when you keep
Yes.
doing it over a
Yeah,
period of time,
yeah,
you kind
yeah.
of get into that rhythm.
yeah, actually you can even observe in your everyday life also.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever you get time, just take your attention to your breath. Even when you do that, automatically your breath will slow down.
Okay.
Just by looking at the breath, it will slow down.
Okay.
So having said this, we all also have a karma. So we don't know.
No one can escape
No one
that.
can know.
Aruna is giving a disclaimer. See, because I told you, you don't come and argue with me that you said you little and then see, obviously that is the case.
Yeah,
Yeah, there are
yeah.
so many people who die very young
Yeah,
these
yeah,
days,
yeah,
heart
yeah,
attacks and
yeah,
all that.
yeah, yeah.
And I think totally our lifestyle is to be blamed somewhere. So that's why this
Yeah.
is important.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So at least this knowledge is important.
Yeah.
So I'm happy that we are discussing this so that it can help a lot of people out
and
there.
I also want to share a couple of things over here. One thing is, I think the goal of any movement practice should be that we should be able to do our own work at the end stage of our life. Even
Right.
when we are in our 30s and 40s, and
right,
50s,
right.
it is very, very important. Because unless until you are training yourself now, it's not going to happen overnight that you
Correct.
suddenly become a fitness enthusiast.
Very true, very true.
That's what. There is no guarantee what's going to happen in life.
Correct.
But
True,
at
true.
least your practice will give you that mental resilience to see through
See
it.
through it.
Give
Very
you that
true.
endurance to
Correct.
see through it. And so yeah.
In fact, that brings me to my next question, Aruna. As when you spoke about nothing can happen, like we should focus on things like when we are in our 30s and 40s and not suddenly when we are 70,
yeah.
start looking at our
Yeah,
health
yeah.
and think, okay, now I should live till 100.
Yeah.
Certainly not. So this actually, you know, I have this question to you that, you know, what can be done? Like, is there something called as children yoga, you know, where kids of like say 4 years or 5 years can start doing, so that at that early age, you know, as parents, we can put them into that practice today so that their tomorrow is more sorted.
Yeah. We as parents have to remember that kids imitate us, they don't obey us, they just imitate us.
Very true.
So if
Very
you
true.
want your child to start practicing something, you first have to do it.
Correct.
Right? And when the child sees the parent rolling out a mat and taking the time to move, to breathe, then they will also automatically do it.
that.
And I see it has happened in my own case. My girl, whenever I put a yoga mat, she comes and puts her yoga mat.
Okay.
And we are all very aspirational for our children. How much aspirational are we on ourselves?
Very true.
We want our child to do this. What are you doing?
Very
What
true.
are you doing first?
Very true.
First you do what you have to
do. Correct.
Then the child will automatically do.
Do. Correct.
So
Right.
that's why I don't
So,
want.
but then kids can definitely do yoga. There's no age. They can start
We
even as young.
typically say like start from 5 because till then it's very difficult. Anything for that matter.
True,
Even
true,
if
very
you put them
true.
in any classes,
Very
like
true,
let
very
them be
true.
5, right?
Right.
Same thing. But yeah, definitely there are a lot of kids yoga sessions happening. Put them, they will enjoy, have fun.
Oh, okay, nice,
But
nice.
as parents, you first do it. Set it as a part of your lifestyle.
Lifestyle.
Only
Very
then
true.
it is easy for the kids to do it.
No, and automatically once it becomes their regime,
Yeah.
it'll become easier.
Yeah,
As you
yeah.
said, otherwise like at 30 or 40, you'll realize one fine day, oh my God, I've started getting BP, sugar,
Yeah.
and then start.
Yeah.
It's always better that
Yeah,
you started
yeah,
early.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because I remember, see, as a child, I had zero knowledge. Because back then in the 90s, and people didn't know what yoga was. As you said, it has existed, but we didn't really
Yeah,
know what it
yeah,
was.
yeah, yeah.
It's only today suddenly that I'm like
Yeah.
all over place and I know, okay, yoga everywhere.
Yeah.
So I think that way it's really important, you know,
Yeah.
that they know it now.
And now most of the schools have yoga as a part of their curriculum.
Curriculum, yes, very true,
which
very
is
true.
a great thing. I mean, it's
Amazing, you know,
yeah.
giving them this exposure that this is
Absolutely.
important. Aruna, is there any medical proven science theory or any studies that have happened that says that if you practice yoga, you can actually cut down on your medical expenses? Does anything like that exist?
Actually, there are a lot of scientific studies that are being currently done and has been done for ages. Not ages, since the 1960s and 70s, since West started adopting yoga, a lot of research are being done to understand how the system actually works on the human body. Having said that, if there is any specific research with data about the medical expenses versus yoga, no, there is no such a specific study. But there has been many proven studies where the yoga and the benefits of yoga has been documented in a very systematic manner.
All right.
Yeah.
That brings me to my next question, Aruna. Tell me that, see, when we are practicing yoga, is that only enough for our entire body and system and we are taken care of and we are like sorted? Or should it be done mixed with other form of exercises also to make it a holistic approach in terms of health?
This is a very beautiful question and I'm going to take a little bit of time to talk about
Please
this.
go ahead.
Okay? Because this is something that everybody is, they ask me this question and we have to remember one thing. We have to remember a couple of things, but the first thing that we have to remember is the human body is designed to move.
Okay.
All right. And over the last 20 years especially, the need for the human body to move has drastically reduced.
Okay.
Like I remember in those days when even two-wheeler was not very common.
Correct.
Right? And then we have to walk if you want to get anything. Even, to get a chili, you have to walk and go and get your chili.
Exactly.
It's not that you sit at home and you order.
Today it's all 10 minutes.
10 minutes. You don't have to go anywhere. I
Anywhere.
have nothing against this technology. I'm grateful for it. But
Yes. The physical movement has got restricted
very
a lot.
restricted,
Yeah.
very restricted. So that's why and that's why a lot of fads are also coming up. If you remember some 10 years back, it was all about walking, like how many steps you did, We all were,
Agreed.
Fitbit
Yeah,
became
yeah,
a big
fitness,
rage
correct.
and all of that. And now suddenly everybody is like strength training,
Strength
and you
Agreed.
have to do. So these fads will come and go. But what we have to remember is whether are we moving our bodies optimally in the way it has been designed to move.
Very
Which
true.
means walking is an activity that you should do.
Regularly.
By default.
Correct.
As much as possible, walk. Don't
It
take
should
your
not be like a separate thing that you're planning to do.
Yeah.
Right.
But at least if you're not able to, get in those steps in your day-to-day life, then go for a walk.
Right.
Definitely, you must do it because your
Yeah.
body is designed to do it.
Designed to do it.
Right? And coming to the strength training, which is the next big
Next big thing today.
Yeah, because
Right.
everybody should lift and all
Right.
of that. What I say to my people who approach me is, choose anything that you like. Only then you'll be consistent.
Very true.
If it is strength training for you, do it. If
Do
it is dancing, do it. If it is cardio, do it. anything that doesn't require too much of a motivation or a push, do it, because then you will be more consistent with it.
And also sometimes, you know, I in fact tell this to a lot of clients who come to me who are pure lazy, and I tell them, see, do what works for you.
Exactly.
What you have time for.
Exactly.
I don't have time to go to gym. I don't have time to do yoga. I cannot get up early because I have to send my child. So I'm like, you will have that half an hour somewhere.
Yeah.
Go walk.
Yeah.
As simple as go walk.
Yeah.
But it is just up to you, I feel, at times.
Absolutely,
That, you know, you
absolutely.
need to make that initiative of what works best for you.
And also, having said that, there are different styles of yoga. Okay, so when you are practicing more in physically intense forms of yoga, it takes care of the strength training part, cardio part, all of this
by
is,
itself.
Yeah, by itself.
Oh, right.
Because the kind of muscles that you can build, it's not this big bulky muscles,
Right.
but those lean and efficient muscles that you build using yoga it's just tremendous.
I think
And,
a very beautiful point here. It's not about, see, muscles probably who are into that kind of line of business, it works.
Yeah.
But for normal people like you and me, it's not about doing that activity, but it's about the stamina.
Exactly.
The energy that you have at the end of the day is all that matters.
Yeah, you nailed it. And another thing is, instead of sitting and worrying like, should I do this, should I do that, what is the best, what has maximum benefits, do something. Whatever you do is going to give you benefit.
Very true. Very true.
So don't sit and say like, no, this influencer is saying strength training, that doctor is saying strength training, this guy is saying walking. Arey, do what works for you. Do something. If it is walking, do it. If it's strength training, do it. If it is yoga, do it. But yes, yoga can, you know, take care of the strengthening part of it, the cardio part of it. All of this is already a part of the practice.
You know, just to all the viewers out there, I would tell you this out of my personal experience, guys, as she very beautifully highlighted, saying that, see, you don't have to run to 10 different things
Exactly.
to do it. What I do, until last year, I used to do, I used to go for a workout. I used to do the strength training bit of it. So it so happened, because I was never into it and I started doing suddenly, it gave me a tennis elbow because I started lifting weights, right? So then my doctor told me that I should do absolutely nothing. Even my yoga had to stop because I had to give this rest.
Yeah.
Then, but the point is that she said, I didn't sit, because if you have to just sit and do nothing. So now what I do every day is 1 hour of walking. That's it.
Yeah.
That works for me right now. I'm doing that.
Perfect.
So what works for you, please go ahead and do it. You need not follow 10 different regimes, as she said. It's very, very true.
Yeah, and thanks for highlighting that about your injury. I have a lot of people who have been sedentary till they are, you know, early 30s, early 40s.
Yeah.
Suddenly they go to a HIIT class or they go to a lifting class. They come to me with a knee pain, back pain, neck pain, shoulder pain, all pains. See, yoga, the beauty of yoga is it is a low impact, high intensity program.
Workout, right?
Okay, so it is kind on your joints, yeah,
Right,
but at
yes.
the same time it does what your body needs also.
What it's supposed
So
to
you
do.
did not have to jump around,
Correct.
do very
Correct.
strenuous things, and you can do it in a very kind way to your body. And still have a good muscle mass, muscle tone, and all strong bones. All of this is there. And also, guys, let's be practical over here, okay? We are not going to go and compete in Miss Universe or Mr. India or Mrs. World or whatever it is. We just have to live our lives easily, without any aches or pains.
Exactly.
Physically we should be fit, mentally we should be peaceful, intellectually we should have clarity, right? And for that, exercise will play a part, but that is not the only thing that you have to do. It is a part of your life. It is not your life.
Not your life itself.
So don't get confused by the variety that is there.
That is available. What works best for you,
you take it.
It was quite a conversation, Aruna. Now tell me, how does yoga, influence mental health issues, really required in today's setup, specifically, problems like anxiety, depression, stress levels. How do you deal with that by practicing this particular? Yes. And can we deal with that?
Okay. Yoga can never replace a mental health professional. So if you're having severe mental health issues, kindly get in touch with a mental health professional. This is not a substitute for actual therapy or medication or what is required for your condition. That is. But having said that, for if you don't have any mental health issues, but of course we all undergo anxiety, we all have stress. There are periods when we do undergo depression, but though not at a very severe level where there is a need for medical intervention. In cases like that, yoga can be tremendously helpful because it really helps you get out of your head.
Right.
See, all suffering is mental.
Very true.
Okay.
Very true. Very true. Yes.
Most of the time, all suffering is mental.
Mental, right.
And when you're constantly on that thought loop, right?
Correct.
How will you break out of it?
Very true.
At that time, when you shift from the mind to the body, when you shift from the mind to the breath, then you break those patterns.
Correct.
And also, see, the body does not know whether something is actually happening or it is happening only in the mind.
Mind.
It responds pretty much in the same way.
Correct.
So if you're constantly in your mind, you are stressed, if you're thinking of negative situations, or if you're, and I'm not saying you shouldn't do it, that's how human beings are wired. We have a negative bias which has helped us survive this long, because we always anticipate the worst possible scenario and we try to prepare for it. That's how we are.
Right.
But we have to stop at some point also, right? Because we can't control everything.
Correct.
To break your thought patterns at that time, having a yoga practice will help you, because even physically we store all these thoughts. It helps in releasing all those thoughts out of that. And also another thing is, people also feel that when I'm having an issue at a mental level, you only have to address it at a mental level. No. You can address it through your body, you can address it through your breath.
True.
And yoga does that.
Oh,
it
fantastic.
actually does that.
Right.
Practices like Anulom Vilom, the alternate nostril breathing and all of that, it helps in balancing your brain activity, the right and left brain activity. There are many other pranayams which help regulate your, thought patterns and all of that. So having a holistic yoga practice definitely
can help those levels come down.
Not only can, it definitely will help.
Right.
See, as I said at the beginning itself, it's not just about your physical health. It's about your health in an overall perspective, mentally, energetically. All of this are addressed when you do a regular yoga practice.
You know why I actually had taken up this question also is, Aruna, when a lot of people come to me for counseling, and when I'm telling them, the importance of, having this meditation and having this me time for themselves, spending time understanding their mind. I have seen, initially people don't believe. The reason, as you said, they don't understand how can just, a breathing can, help you bust your stress. But it is so difficult to make them believe and understand that it becomes a class in itself. And then, but over the time when people have started doing, and then they come back to me that, no, Neha, you were right. It really helped, and it helped me settle down. So, that's why I wanted you to address this and tell this to people, because when it comes from a person who's been practicing this for years and has seen the difference, it makes it more authentic.
Yeah, I totally relate to you, because I have had people see pranayam. Maybe we will talk about it further down also, but just briefly talking about it, pranayam, when we do, people think that, I have so much stress, so I have to do pranayam for 30 minutes. And it's like, no, you don't. You do it for 5 minutes.
5 minutes also,
like,
exactly.
5 minutes, how will it help? I'm like, a tiny pill can go and cure your headache and cure whatever
problems that we have. Very true.
It is the same. It is exactly the same.
Yeah.
You are altering your chemical composition of your brain, of your body by doing it. So it will work. And it need not be for prolonged period of time.
Very true.
So I totally relate with you.
Sometimes it's also just a belief.
Yes.
You need to believe what you're practicing.
Yes.
Only then it will work.
Anything for that matter. Anything. The belief is what is driving us, right?
Correct. Next question to you is, Aruna, tell me one thing, that how soon can, someone expect to see noticeable differences once they start practicing yoga overall, like every day, and how quickly we can, see, because today we are living in a 2-minute noodle kind of a theory, and everybody wants, like, today I start, tomorrow it should happen. So, but ideally speaking, how much time can we expect, and, then see those changes what we're looking at?
This is a beautiful question, and see, benefits, if you're going to talk about weight loss alone as a benefit, then definitely more than 3 or 4 months of regular practice combined with proper nutrition is needed. But I'm not going to talk about that, because that's a very, very insignificant benefit of yoga, according to me at least. Instantaneously, the benefits that you will see right after the practice or even during the practice is how much connection you feel with your own body. And your breath and your mind. It's like as if you're looking at yourself when you're on the mat. We are constantly looking out, right? We are just perceiving the world. We don't take time to look at ourselves. So the instant benefit is you get more connected with yourself, and you will definitely feel more peaceful, relaxed, composed after a yoga class. That is the instant benefit of it. Just by doing one session, you will be able to experience
that.
Yes. And within a month, you will become more body aware, which means you will not be mindlessly eating, or you will not be going on an emotional roller coaster.
That consciousness will prevail.
Yes, you will be, because you are now trained to look at yourself, You'll be catching yourself faster when you are going into a spiral. That is not going to serve you, right? So that happens within a month or two. After a few months, maybe 5 or 6 months of your practice, you become so aware to the extent that even when you are unconsciously tightening any part of your body, you're like, okay, you catch yourself and you relax.
So you get to know those right postures and at the right time, so
like
you
even
are aware.
As simple as, suppose you're chopping a vegetable,
right,
you will understand, am I putting in extra effort that is not needed over here? And you will stop.
That's interesting.
You know, most of the time we
correct, end up just doing it like it's a monotonous thing. Okay, we have to just do it.
And you become more aware of your energy. You don't just expend it out.
Right.
You become more mindful of how you're spending your energy. And after 1 or 2 years of practice, then it will start working on your mental level. You will start becoming more aware of your thought patterns and all of that. And then slowly, just like how we build our physical strength, and of course, the year your stamina goes up, your endurance goes up, your energy level goes up, your sleep gets regulated. Sleep gets regulated within 3 or 4 months itself. Right. All of this will happen, but eventually you'll also, just like how we build the muscles in our body, you'll also build the muscles of our mind also. Your mind will become more focused. You'll be able to process things faster.
Also, as you rightly said, doing a lot of this over the period of time, maybe a year or two, you get a lot composed also with people who are temperamental. I've seen, and less patience.
Yeah.
You start, having more of that and dealing with things more sensibly than, that you ever used to do.
Yeah. So all of this, and we should also not forget about the first 2 limbs of yoga, which is the yamas and niyamas. These are our value systems, the do's and don'ts, the discipline that we have to inculcate in our life. That is also a part of our practice that should be done. So that is also.
Now that brings me to my final question to you, Aruna. It was a lovely conversation. Please, that one advice that you would like to give all the people out there. Well, we've spoken at length enough about everything, but to the beginners, especially, who want to begin this somewhere but are not finding a way out, and if they have to begin, what is like the most basic thing that one can get started with without overwhelming themselves with too many things?
Super. So what I would request all of you is to first get your sleep right. If you're not sleeping enough, start with sleep. Without setting your sleep, don't jump into any form of exercise, even yoga, because then it's going to be adding to the stress of
yours, right?
So first get your sleep sorted. At least sleep for 6 hours, please. 8 is minimum, but 6 at least try to sleep. And the second thing is, don't set the bar too high. Don't say like, I'm going to do 1 hour of yoga and I'm going to, no.
Don't be cruel to yourself, I would say initially. You have to be easy.
Like set the bar like so low that it is like you don't have to put in any effort to do it. Do 10 minutes.
10 minutes. Very
like,
true.
Just rotate your joints. Get into the habit of moving.
Right.
Start very small. Then you will be consistent, and then automatically the 10 will become 20. 20 will become half an hour. Then you will like effortlessly be doing 1 hour of practice. That finding the 10 minutes is what is the most difficult. Find that, even 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
Start somewhere. Don't have this all or nothing attitude.
Right.
And also don't wait for the perfect moment to start. Okay.
Yeah.
So I have
the Rahu Kal and Muhurat and then decide one point to start.
And not only that, life keeps happening for everybody.
Right.
Don't say my child is sick, I am sick, my husband is sick, and then we are vacationing, and then people are coming, guests are coming, something is happening, work, I have an appraisal. Life will keep happening. It's like as if you're waiting for the waves to subside before going and taking bath in the ocean. That's
a very beautiful point where she's ended up with. And also just one thing I would like to end this session with is that, guys, as she said, don't, when you begin something, don't raise your bar, don't start at 10, right? You have to start at 1, because what happens is you will start at 10 and then you will not be able to achieve that, obviously, because you started so high, and then your motivation is zero. मेरे से तो नहीं हो रहा, I can't do it. Okay, I'm not doing it, and you leave it. Instead, if you start at 1, as she said, the 10 times or the 10 minutes if you're able to walk, you'll be very happy.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
I've
yeah,
achieved.
yeah.
So you will be happy to go move next.
Yeah.
So that, for a reason they say, the proverbs are made for a reason. I feel slow and steady wins the race.
Absolutely.
So you will win this race of your health and of your body, provided you're slow and steady.
Yeah. And you
Otherwise,
will not
it's
be
gonna happen.
motivated on all days. Just make it a choiceless activity that you have to do.
Exactly.
Just like how hopefully you don't have a choice in brushing your teeth, hopefully. Like that, your movement should also be a choiceless thing that you do. Like
Exactly.
you have to do. That's all. Just like brushing your teeth. Make it as simple as brushing your teeth, and just do it now. Right now. Right now you do it.
Do it.
That's
Yes.
all.
Thank you so much, Aruna.
Yeah.
It was super fun. I had a great time, having this conversation.
Yeah.
And one of my big wish list is talking to you, because I really wanted to do this, as I said, and it was super fun. And I'm sure a lot of people out there have heard this, understood this, and will benefit out of this.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
and
thank you.
it was a
Thank you so
pleasure.
much. Yeah, same here. Thank you for this engaging questions. You've put in a lot of thought behind it, and I appreciate it. And thank you for giving me the time and space to share my views. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I had a great time, and I'm sure all of you out there also enjoyed. And the points that we discussed, it was pretty informative, and it will help you know where to start, what to do, and how to continue in this particular format. Well, guys, personally, I would suggest all of you, please share this video with every single person, as we discussed, who wants to begin somewhere but is not able to. At least by having a look at this video, he or she will get a head start and will know where to start, and will be taking care of their personal bodies as well. On this note, stay happy, stay healthy, and do let me know in the comment section how you like this podcast and what more you would want to see on Meaningful Mondays with Neha. Until then, have a great week. It's me, Neha, saying bye.